And with this, we come to the end of the first lecture. But I would like to give you some homework, and I will try to do that after every lecture. Of course, there are far too many of you for us to be able to grade your homework, so it's just for you to get more confidence into what you have learned. I personally often feel that sometimes you listen to something and it sounds plausible and you think you have understood it, but if you then actually try to do it yourself, you better understand where you still have problems and which parts you still must go over again to understand them better. So I think it's very valuable to try these things out by yourself and play around with the code and the playground and so on. Obviously, in this week's lecture, you haven't really learned anything yet. I just showed you this auction contract example, but obviously I can't ask you to write a simple Plutus smart contract. So instead, what I would like you to do is basically repeat everything I have done in this lecture. So get your environment working, clone the two repositories, install Nix if you don't already have it, set up the binary caches, check out the right version of the Plutus apps repo, then start the Nix shell, use the Nix shell to compile this week's code, then run a local instance of the playground, paste the auction code in there, and then just try some scenarios. I only showed you two, and those were both successful scenarios in the sense that there was no contract error anywhere. But of course, you could also try what happens if, for example, the deadline is violated or the minimal bid is violated or one of these things. So just try to get everything working and play around a bit with the example contract I gave you. And it would be nice if each of you could, before the next lecture, have a working environment so that we don't get slowed down by installation issues and can concentrate on actually writing interesting Plutus contracts. So thank you very much again for your interest in this course, and I hope you learned something, and I'll talk to you next week.